I remember standing on a commercial site a few years back looking at a huge cladding job, about £3,000 worth of work. And the contractor I was talking to, he couldn't figure out why he lost it. He'd put in what he thought was a rock bottom price, just absolute baseline. But the company gave the contract to a guy who quoted literally double his price. Double! And when he asked why, the facility manager pulled out two folders. The low bidder gave them a single line on a piece of paper that said, clean cladding, £3,000. The guy who won it, he handed over site-specific risk assessments and method statements, proper COSHH data sheets for the chemicals, and a clear plan for runoff control. The manager didn't care about saving 1,500 quid if it meant taking on massive legal and safety risks. That right there is the splash and dash trap, and it breaks my heart seeing so many new tradespeople fall into it. When you compete purely on price, you end up attracting low margin, high friction clients. The kind of clients who monitor your every move and complain about a tiny spot on a stone tile. But here's the kicker. Most contractors think customers are just cheap. They're not. In fact, something like 80% of customer hesitation doesn't come from price sensitivity at all. It comes from fear. Fear that you're going to blast their render off the wall, or kill their prize rose bushes, or ruin their roof tiles with high pressure. I learnt this lesson the hard way in my early days in exterior cleaning, to be completely honest with you. I went out to treat a rendered wall. I knew what chemical to use, but I didn't take the time to walk the homeowner through what I was doing. I didn't explain dwell times, I didn't explain how we pre-wet and protect plants, and I didn't explain why the algae wouldn't just vanish in 10 seconds like pressure washing. So while the chemical was dwelling, working its magic, the client was inside getting more and more panicked, thinking I was leaving acid to eat away at their home. Ended up in a massive argument, a frustrated client, and an unpaid invoice. All because I sold a result without explaining the process. Now, compare that splash and dash approach to a professional surface diagnosis. Instead of saying, yeah mate, I can jet wash that wall for 50 quid, you walk up and explain what's actually happening on the surface. You tell them, look, this red staining on your render isn't dirt, it's a specific microorganism called Trentipolia red algae, and if you hit it with high pressure water, you'll strip the aggregate and drive moisture into the wall. Or on a roof, explaining that those dark patches are black lichens anchored deep into the concrete tile, requiring controlled chemical treatments to break down the organic root structure. Instantly, you switch from being a guy with a pressure washer in the back of a van to a technical specialist. Trust goes up, and suddenly price isn't the primary lever anymore. So how do you actually structure your business to win those higher value jobs consistently? It comes down to what I call the 48-hour quoting system. If you follow up on an inquiry with a clear, written, professional scope within 48 hours, you convert over half of your unclosed estimates. Over half. And having a crystal clear written scope is what protects you from scope creep, especially on delicate surfaces like K-rend or monocouche render, where homeowners suddenly ask, oh, can you just quickly do that garden wall while you're here? When you price a job, you have to price for risk and technical skill, not just your time on the wand. You need to factor in access equipment like cherry pickers or mobile towers. You factor in setting up exclusion zones to keep the public and pets safe. You factor in COSHH compliance and professional runoff control so chemicals don't enter storm drains. Compliance isn't an unpaid overhead that eats into your profit, It's a billable feature of a professional service that high-value domestic and commercial clients are actively looking for. Now, reading articles, listening to podcasts like this, that's a brilliant start. It gives you the foundation. But if you really want to elevate your business and land those high-value commercial contracts, you need structured, formal education. That's why we built the Softwash UK CPD Certified Softwash Training course. It gives you the exact hands-on knowledge, the site-specific RAMs paperwork templates, chemical safety protocols, and an approved applicator directory listing that proves to clients you know what you're doing before you even step foot on site. Stop guessing, stop undercutting yourself, and stop competing in the race to the bottom. Build your reputation on expertise, safety, and proper systems. That's how you build a real, profitable exterior cleaning business. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.